Hello, welcome to Popcorn with a Program. This is our advising team room. So you'll hear from a few of us in our health related fields. So we have a couple of our program advisors joining us. We have an academic success counselor. We should be having some enrollment advisors dropping in. We're not entirely sure. And we do have our contact information for our dean listed there. So we're going to go ahead and get started and kind of start with our first program advisor. And he's just going to briefly go over what programs he advises in, and then we'll kind of go from there. And if you do have any specific questions, Pamela, you can always put it in the chat or unmute yourself. It's up to you. Okay. I forgot to ask, did you have a bowl with you for our bowl picture? Okay, that's okay. No problem there. But we'll start with Julian.
Thank you, Tammy. And Pamela, welcome. So I'm one of the program advisors. I actually do dental studies. I do dental hygiene as well as dental assisting. And I also have a nursing caseload, which I help students that are I through K with last names as well as A. But we're here to kind of help out students, direct them the best way possible, and give them recommendations on classes. And I'm going to present to you Matthew Chandler.
Awesome. How are you doing? It's nice to be here with you. So yeah, Matthew Chandler, and the programs I cover are radiologic technology, fitness and wellness, and then part of our nursing alpha split as well. So yeah, nice to be with you. I'm going to throw it over to Sylvia, I guess.
Hi everyone, my name is Sylvia Loustaunau-Romero. I'm an academic success counselor. I work alongside my counterparts here. I also have a program advising role for surgical technology, veterinary technology, and therapeutic massage. And the other academic success counselor who could not join us today, his name is Todd Slaney, but we'll talk more about our roles in a bit, I think. All right, back to you.
Thanks, Sylvia. So my name is Tammy Trujillo. I'm also another program advisor for our HOP programs. I advise in medical assisting, phlebotomy, medical lab tech, and also, I share that nursing caseload. So, Pamela, what areas of our programs were you considering or interested in?
Well, I kind of know a little bit about them, especially when they were on the CTD part. I used to be a previous employee of Pima County One Stop working with the HPOG program. So most of these programs I'm pretty familiar with. Now that they changed though to credit hour, it's a little bit different. So I'm just trying to find out because now I'm with the college and I'm in adult ed. So a lot of our students have been talking to me about getting into vet tech, dental hygiene, and all these other programs, more health science programs. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to learn a little bit more and find out what are the requirements and who I can actually send them off to. Instead of like saying, contact this number, I'd rather send them off with a name. So yeah.
Great. Okay, so that's good to know. So you're here to gather information so you're able to distribute it to other students. Perfect. Mm-hmm. So most of our advisors can be found. Let me put that in hold on. I'm going to share that in our chat box here. So if you use this link, you can see who advises for what area. This is pretty updated as far as our health related team goes. So if you want to use this directory, if you're looking for a specific person with an email address, contact that, you can find that here. So let me drop that in the chat box. So if you go there and you click on health advising, that's where you'll find our information for who advises for which area, as well as who advises for which nursing caseload. But currently we have about 14 programs, right, that we are spread out between health related professions and nursing. Kind of half and half certificates, some are applied science degrees. We did switch over from CTD to credit hour, especially with our medical assisting and phlebotomy. The biggest updates with that is phlebotomy did move to our West Campus, so it's no longer at Desert Vista. Medical assisting still is going to be at Desert Vista. And then the change in medical assisting is that they're no longer doing the blocks. So they would do four 10-week blocks rotation situation. So they're switching back to the traditional semester style. So fall, spring, summer. This year, we won't be offering a summer. Our next cohort will be beginning this fall.
Okay. Now, is that with the IBEST program that you guys are?
So medical assisting is still tied in with IBEST.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
Very nice. Where is this located at? Oh, it's not even on the PCC advisory.
Yeah.
I've been looking for something like that and I keep looking everywhere. I'm like, where could I find something like this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's it's mostly up to date. But like I said, as far as our health advising team goes, that's the most up to date information for who's our contact.
So what is the general process if I get a student? I have one pretty soon. She only has one more test to do and she wants to get into the dental hygienist program. Like what are their requirements? I know that now they have like information sessions that they can either do online. I don't know if there's any in person right now, and then they kind of do that. But now with this new system, I'm looking online, there's a new application process for students. They actually go in and they have to fill out information. So can you kind of walk me through that so I can help students on my side when they're doing it? I can kind of explain to them what they need to do and who they need to contact.
Yeah, Julian, you want to?
Yeah, for sure. So Pamela, I'm the program advisor for dental hygiene as well as dental assisting. So with dental hygiene, it's kind of a two-step application process, right? So they have to apply to Pima Community College first, and then they have to do some preparatory courses. Those preparatory courses is reading 112, HP, or regular reading 112. They can test out of that with an AccuPlacer. If, let's say, the other classes that are going to be involved is chemistry 130 and 140, and then bio 201 and 202. After they finish those classes up, they can go to their student account to My Pima and then go to academics and then West Campus HRP program application. And then it's going to put them into a wait list. The wait list right now is pretty significant. It's about, it's fall of 2029.
Wow.
It's a pretty significant wait list. We were talking to the directors of the program last week. They're working on something like a competitive application, but that's something that they're going to start in fall, trying to figure out how it's going to work. So they're not 100% sure yet when it's going to come into effect, what it's going to look like, but that's something that we can see kind of on the horizon coming, but for now it's a wait list. So any student who finishes up those bios, the chem and the reading can get placed into the wait list.
Okay.
Another place you can always direct students to are our information sessions. So let me, on the calendars, let me put that in the chat as well. We are going to be adding some more dates to that for the most part. And I know that, so as far as our programs go, the other waitlisted program is respiratory therapy. So that one's going to be out by a couple of years. And then RadTech is competitive. So there is no waitlist for RadTech. That's another big popular program. And of course, you know, Matthew does that. And Matthew, you want to kind of go over how RadTech works?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know much. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so
Nice.
So yeah, the way it works for RadTech now, and this is important because you're going to get students that are going to reach out to you potentially and say, what about the wait list, right? So there is a pre-existing wait list from years past, right? So it used to be very much like dental hygiene. They would apply if they weren't 24 of, if they weren't one of the 24 that's in each new cohort, they would get put on the wait list. So we still have an existing wait list that goes out till about 2025. However, moving forward from this past fall on, it went to competitive admissions. So what happens is There are 2 application windows, January and August. Students will apply kind of the same way that that Julian mentioned. You know, they go into their account and they find the correct one for HRP program applications, and obviously fill out the one for Rad Tech. So what they're doing is 16 students for each new cohort of 24. 16 students come off of the wait list from the past, right? So we still have students that have been waiting in some cases a few years to get in. So 16 from that pre-existing wait list, and only 8, the 8 remaining spots are made up of new applications. So essentially it's 8 students a year get in from the competitive application. So to be just completely candid and honest, the vast majority of the students that apply do not get in because it's only 8, right? So students will often ask, you know, well, do I get, they still are confused, right? Well, does that mean then I go on a wait list? No, there's no wait list moving forward. What are my options? Their options are essentially to apply again in the next application window, or, you know, look at maybe another health related profession program to maybe pursue, or at least start on while they're waiting to reapply. But that's essentially the way it works. So eight students from the applications from this point kind of moving forward is what it comes down to.
Wow. Yeah, because I know, well, this has been a long time ago. I know when I was going to school at Pima, you can just register for classes, right? And it didn't matter. There was no application. There was none of that. So I think that has stopped, right? They can't actually sign up for a class unless they've gone through the process.
Yeah, so they'll be able to, like Red Tech does have some preparatory courses as well. You can see them on the website, but essentially you got your Math 151, which is college algebra, Bio 156, general biology, and either HRP 100 or STU 100 as those success courses. So those are the 3 preparatory courses. So they can still sign up for those. They can also sign up and register for any and all of the support courses. There's a list of about 5 or 6 different required support courses. They can still do all of those. And in fact, they should, because those actually go into the scoring system that the department uses for admission. So I always recommend, you know, take all of them and try to get A's and B's in all of them. And so they can do any and all of those courses. They just cannot, of course, do the actual core Rad Tech courses until they're in the program.
Okay, good to know.
Yep, yeah.
Been a lot of changes.
yeah, for sure.
Any other questions you might have for us, Pamela, or about any of our other programs?
Yeah, Search Tech, I would like to know more about. Who was that, Sylvia's program?
Yeah.
Vet Tech.
Yeah, so, well, surgical tech, one of the more interesting things. So again, moving from CTD now to the credit side of the college. It is a 2-year associate degree program. It will work more, it will fit in more smoothly with the NAU 90/30 programs with their Bachelor of Science in Allied Health. The biggest change this spring, aside from it changing to a credit-based program and it becoming several $1,000s cheaper, is that the HESI exam is no longer required to apply. And so that is still on the website. It still says, hey, you have to have your math and you have to have your Bio 201 and 202 and your reading Accuplacer and the HESI. But the actual updates are going to make it so Bio 201 and 202 with a final grade posted on the unofficial transcript, a reading Accuplacer score on file, doesn't matter, there's no minimum right now. And the Math 142 or above, that doesn't have to be done in order for the student to apply to the program. That can be done during, right, the program. Surge Tech info session attendance is required. Meeting with me, meeting with Bernalisa Gonzalez, the program director, the biologies, the reading Accuplacer. Once those checks have been met, then the student is given the 1-page cover sheet application. And basically it's just, you know, hey, this is what you need. And the student is, of course, signing that their information is true to the best of their ability, blah, blah, blah. I think for surgical tech, we have one more info session next week. And I don't see any other info sessions for us. Team, are those going up for May or are they not going up for May? That might be a question.
They will. Tammy and I were just talking about that yesterday, that we need to kind of reconvene on it. There may be a few slight changes that are being made because of like the latest catalog that came out, and some of these bigger changes that we're discussing. But yeah, we will be adding some for May and June and so on.
I thought that I'd ask. I knew you guys would know. The other thing with Surge Tech is there's no wait list. 20 seats, once fall start only. So the window to apply to the program opens February 1 and closes midnight, right? 11:59 p.m. June 1, I should say. So any students that don't get in this time around, they'll have to wait till next February 1 to submit their application. No waiting list. And, you know, at this point, we'll see how many applicants we get. Any student that had declared surgical tech interest, right, or who had already been to an info session, they were all given that information updated because the HESI exam change was barely announced a couple of weeks ago. So all the folks who have been, we've been keeping track of the folks who have been going to the info sessions, they all got the same email at the same time. So from there, before I go to vet tech, do you have any questions about surgical tech?
No, don't have no questions on that one. It sounds like pretty much almost the same. As before, you know, 20 seats. I know before they used to be interview, you know, they used to do interviews with them, and that's how they kind of got selected. So that is no longer.
No, and you're absolutely right. It used to be an interview, letters of recommendation, volunteer hours, resume, lots of details, right? So no, not this time around. We'll see if it's updated for next spring, but it's pretty straightforward. And so the student will get the application from me after they meet those requirements. For vet tech, one application window deadline, I should say, because at any point the student could send Dr. Lombana a program application. It's online, but the cutoff is 4 p.m. November 1st. And I know she kind of gives a little bit of wiggle room, but I always encourage the students not to wait for that, get it in sooner. We had more applicants this past fall than there were seats. And I think there was over 70 seats, 75 or something like that. So people actually were turned away. The folks that were turned away either had very little or no experience with animals other than being a pet owner. So she's looking for, you know, volunteer, part-time jobs, shelter work, etc. And then even stuff as, you know, not properly filling out the application, right? Spelling, grammatical errors, things like that can also count off. We've had quite a few. How should I quantify that? I want to say probably 3 to 5 applicants that were graduates or are graduates of the U of A's Bachelor of Science, Vet Science program. And some of those folks are planning or to apply or reapply to veterinary school, grad school, and who want more experience hands-on while they're waiting to do that. So the competition's there, but in no way is Dr. Lombana turning students away. If they have the passion, the discipline, and the experience, a person who just has their first semester of Gen Eds and the Vet 100 class has just as good a chance as the person who has that Bachelor of Science as well. That's really what's going to make the difference. The experience with volunteering or working with animals and a proper application, right? Somebody who's taken the time to properly answer those questions. One thing that I noticed today, and I was talking to Valerie and I reached out to Carla, who's currently on maternity leave. There is a change in the Vet 100 prerequisites, in that there are no more prerequisites attached to the Vet 100. And as of last fall, math 97 placement or the C, or and reading 112 and writing placement, right, in 101, or concurrent enrollment along with VET 100 were the requirements. That language is gone from the summer schedule of classes and from the fall schedule of classes. So at this point, anybody could enroll in VET 100, and I'm not sure that's exactly what was meant to happen, but I raised that flag with the program director. It's not meant to be a class that you have to be in the program before. It's meant to be before you apply to the program or while you're applying to the program, so that successful completion of that class is one of the has tos, right, if you're conditionally accepted. But other than that, I mean, I think that's probably the one thing that's kind of hanging around there is like, ooh, I would still encourage any student though, if you're below reading, writing, math, college level, get to work on that this summer and even into the fall, so that that doesn't get you, because like any other student, you know, they need college level reading, writing, and math, right, to be successful in those 100 level classes and above.
Yeah.
Questions on that one?
No, thank you. That's important for me. You know, even though I'm in adult ed, I do get students that do very well. The only thing is their math is always a math problem. But, you know, talking to them, I think I have like, I have it here. 9 students who are interested in vet tech.
Mhm.
So, you know, that would be good for me because I work on these pathway planners with them, and it's good for me to tell them, you know, why don't you start volunteering, working for a shelter, you know, getting involved more with the animals, so that way when they get in there, at least they have those type of things done. So things like this is very useful. It's very helpful for me, so that I can share. So yeah, thank you.
And a lot of students, you know, may not have the transportation yet, right? So some of the volunteer experience was going to go get trained on how to use the feral cat trap cages, so that they get the cats, they then take them to the shelters where they're spayed or neutered, and then they're returned back to their environment. So sometimes the shelter or the volunteer experience can be like that, and it's more flexible for the students who can't really be there, you know, like 3 or 4 days a week or even on weekends. The other thing I was going to say about vet tech was what? I think I forgot. It slipped my brain, but oh, I remember the math. So it's a math 92, an algebra, or placing into intermediate algebra. That's the math 97. So it's not even college level algebra or topics in college algebra. So for any students who might not quite be ready for that, you know, the summer ICS math is a great way. There's like partnerships between math 92 and math 97, you know, that they can take at the same time. So definitely they should reach out and attend an information session.
Okay.
I always like to tell our adult ed students, you're our students, you come to the info sessions, you have access to counselors and program advisors. We're all one college, and hopefully that message will get through.
Yeah, I definitely let students know just to go get information, kind of get an idea of what they're looking at and what to expect. So yeah, and I actually help them register anyway when they're here, you know, just to attend. So
thank you for doing that.
Any final questions, Pamela, from any of us?
No, I think you went through all the ones that were here, right?
Perfect. Is there any other breakout room you want to move into next? There's club and transfer advisors, and there's also faculty and staff room 1, and then there's also a room 2.